Hey everybody, how everybody doing? Hopefully y'all can hear me. We need to test and see, can we hear ourselves? Perfect. Y'all can hear me. Perfect. Okay. So how has y'all week been? How was your weekend? We have some things to talk about in regards to higher education. We have a lot of things going on. Such a beautiful day to talk about higher ed, right? Moment of silence. Because we told you it was coming. We said this was coming, but it's okay. It's higher ed. It's a little boring. It's a little standstill. We're not as popular as the finance world. We're not as popular as the sports world. We're not as popular as the other worlds, right? But we are on our way. Like I did that on my. Let me stop. So let me show you the disclaimer. Got a little. I can show y'all. Disclaimer. Video tools. Okay, so I need it again. Disclaimer. Yes, I feel like I said it wrong, but disclaimer. The video presented here for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking about creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Please don't sue me. Please, 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 please. So let's do our Shio. Before we jump into our information. Yep. Y'all can't see that. All right. So today is August 4th. My niece's birthday is in 4 days. Then my next niece's birthday is the 22nd. And then my mom's birthday is in between those. Interesting. So pace of college closings picks up with more projected. National policy press release. The U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon issues national call to action to university presidents and governing boards. Who would have thought that day would come? Well, I don't think much gonna happen from it personally. I think that's always gonna happen. Something like that happened last year. I read a little bit on it, just a little bit. The Agile Community College, dynamic labor market alignment, and an AI-driven economy. Trump officials try again to reform colleges with higher ed's help. For higher ed, Trump's Compact 2.0 is either an olive branch or a gloved fist. Thoughts on Secretary McMahon's new letter to universities, that's by AEI. Senate appropriations aim to temporarily delay OMB grants rule. Trump administration calls on Congress to support education department's interagency agreements. Beyond the average, the uneven geography of college return on investment has been a hot topic lately. State policy. Minnesota, let down by legislators. Thousands of Minnesota college students face reduced financial aid due to legislative inaction. Interesting. Minnesota is losing some financial aid, I guess. That's what it sounds like. Texas, Republican lawmakers praise new college oversight law. Critics say it's led to censorship. And that's it for Shio. Shio, like, man, we ain't got that many topics. But, us speaking on behalf, we're going to create something out of nothing. That's what we specialize in. Creating nothing out of something. So the first topic I got on here is about Don't earn a trade now, right? Don't earn a trade now. Why do I say that? I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna just tell you. I'm gonna show you initially why I say that. So you know me, I like to go to LinkedIn. These are credible people talking on LinkedIn. People who got billions of dollars, multi-million dollars, or on LinkedIn, you know, casually, you know, premium Santa Alto. Remember Santa Alto? We talked about him. He has a premium LinkedIn. So he's talking about this article right here. The struggling colleges rating their endowments to pay bills. Now, if you know us, before I get into this, if you know us and been rocking with us, you know I've been talking about a higher ed bubble. The higher ed bubble is deflating. I came up with another word for it, demolition. I think I remember. But higher ed is going through some obstacles, right? And colleges had it coming. Fancy campuses, high tuition rates, paying university presidents, paying executives a lot of money. And I'm not saying you can't get paid. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when you're not structuring the money properly, you get these results. So Santa J. Ono, if you don't remember us talking about him, he was intended to be the university president at the University of Florida. But he was not conservative enough. And the rest is history. You can learn about that story. So he said right here that this article is about, the article shows how dire the situation has become for some colleges and universities. Now he's the president at Ellison Institute of Technology, Oxford, which is created by Larry Ellison himself. Leaders are cutting programs and laying off faculty. Boards are fighting with each other and with the presidents they hired. Endowments are being drained to cover operating costs. In some cases, schools are paying daily bills with money donors gave for something else without telling them. Experts predicted this several years ago. I feel like I was one of them, by the way. Not calling myself an expert, but just saying. I did say, oh my bad, y'all can't see me. Just saying. We did say this was gonna happen years ago. If you go look at the content I was dropping back in, like, what, in my, not my college dorm, but you know, staying off campus, getting roommates that I'm not responsible for in my apartment room. I was 3 years ago. Trust me, I was already on it beforehand. Don't try to put my age on it because I was mentioning it. And so the demographic cliff was on every projection. And so was the loss of trust in the value of a degree. And that's what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with a lot of public trust. A lot of public trust. A lot of people do not trust colleges, universities, because which is going to be one of the articles we also speak on, because a lot of people don't feel they are getting a return on investment going to college. That is what people believe in today's time. We live in such a fast-paced time. I was listening to something outside of higher education. Ray Allen, the basketball player, retired Hall of Famer, and he was talking about how, like, organizations don't give coaches, players time to develop, just like NFL, just like just like the college presidents, they don't get time to develop. Just like people going to school. When you go into school, people expect to have money right away. People are thinking, oh, once I graduate college, man, you throwing me in the 6 figures. It's supposed to happen that fast. And I'm like, some career fields it do, but if you have that expectation all the time, some people think they're in the stock market. Some people think, oh, I put $10,000 in the stock market. I need to be a millionaire by tomorrow. Or realistically, they'll say by next month or by the end of the year. And it don't work like that, y'all. It don't work like that. So Senator Ono is saying that yet too few universities are doing the work, cutting costs, aligning programs with workforce needs, and improving career readiness. Easy to say, right? But if he was the university president, of Florida, I don't know if he could say that. If he was, he got free range to say what he want to say because Larry Ellison's a billionaire, multi-billionaire, and he put him in position. He was like, I got you. I know you can do your job. I got you. Come run my institution. Come run my school, my college, or something like that. So going to the next. Well, it's the same topic, but going to the next thing. Where is it? No, that one. I think it's a video. No, we don't have a video. No, it's not that one. Let me see. I think I'm gonna do that one, y'all. Nah, I think, but it should be that one. Yeah, it's that one. All right. So the pace of college, I don't know why I say the pace of colleges, but the pace of college closings pick up with more projected. So we had said that colleges were going to be closing. We said we hit it on that. We didn't know what schools, all right. So now they're saying small colleges are going to be affected. Like I said, UGA, Georgia Tech, because I'm in Georgia, Georgia State, University of Florida, like schools you see on March Madness, not all of them, but majority of them big schools, they're going to be good. Those are like your S&P 500. That's like your Nvidias. That's like your MUs. That's like your, what's another one? It's like your Palantir. These schools are blue chip companies. So, these schools are not going nowhere. But what about the schools that are technically small cap or micro cap schools? What do you mean, speaking on behalf? What I mean is, what about the schools you never heard of, but it's a school out there? Those are the ones we're talking about. So when the small schools, the reason why this is important before we get into this is because once we get into the small schools that are potentially going to close down and they're tapping into their endowment funds to pay for things that they shouldn't do. That's what I wanted to say before when I was pausing. Endowment funds are intended for specific things. That's why when people say they have endowment money or this money to pay for presidents, top execs, and all that, I'm like, I don't know where they be getting this money from. And when I tell you that I was in graduate school and professionals who, been in the game longer than I have, their faculty, and I asked them and they can't tell me exactly why a college football coach with a losing program or an athletic director with a losing program or multiple losing programs is getting paid top of the line dollar, but the school is not even making any money from the sports. That doesn't make sense. Business 101, it doesn't make sense. Like, would you pay somebody, yourself as a person, if you had a business, would you give your hard-earned money to your mom, who's your cook, but she can't cook? It's the same thing. You paying her for her services, but you realize your mom can't cook really. But you're paying her 6 figures a year to cook you food you can go get in a food desert. If you don't know what a food desert is, go look it up. So that is what colleges are really doing with their money, funds. Then they're claiming, yeah, we are doing well, putting students into great jobs and blah, 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 blah. Hey, you are the school. You are the man or woman, whatever school you are, claiming to do these things that are not good. You are the school man or woman. Hey, but people saying other things, data says another thing, and the people of the society say a whole nother third thing. So get into this. It says, you want to buy a college campus? I kind of do, actually. How many acres we talking about? You might, hey, the multimillionaires and billionaires might come tapping into this channel and say, hey, I heard about this guy talking about college, and he said these college campuses might be up for sale. So, which is going back to the main thing, when the small schools start consolidating into bigger schools, because if the small schools shut down, that's going to force you to go to a bigger school. If that forces you to go to a bigger school, potentially, unless you know the 2 years are still going to be here, but unless you just like really don't want to go to a 2-year college, that's going to cost you a lot of money, because that could push you toward a bigger school that costs a lot more money, because the school going to have to charge more money, in my simple thought. Not really looking at numbers, but if a school got to get more students, that means they have to expand more. If they're a bigger school, they have to expand more, offer more tuition. They have to get real creative, and just to maintain all those students and make more campuses, which costs more money. So just on a small note, the first thing they do when schools don't have money, they run to the consumer of students and parents. So keep that in mind. And they also are planning to they already changed the structure of student loans to go make you go get more private loans. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe. Let me see. So there's a sudden market in abandoned campuses, an outgrowth of the accelerating rate of colleges closing in the face of failing enrollment, rising debt, and other problems. More than 440 of the nation's private, nonprofit, 4-year colleges and universities are now at risk. Based on enrollment trends, debt, and other measures, according to projections by Heron Consulting Group, that is a quarter of the total. Among the most endangered, small, rural, and religious affiliated institutions, right there. Losing faith, rural religious campuses are among the most endangered. So they have a whole article on that. Let me see how that sounds. Can y'all hear that?
Many small religious colleges are in trouble. Enrollments are down, budgets are not balanced, and some people are skeptical about higher education and religion. Almost 80 nonprofit colleges have closed or merged since 2020, and more than half were religiously affiliated. NPR's Alyssa Nadworny reports on 2 Catholic colleges in Iowa that decided to merge and join the trend of religious schools seeking strength in numbers.
Tonight, the Mount Mercy Mustangs face off against the St. Ambrose Bees in men's volleyball. The Mustangs have home turf here in Cedar Rapids, and they're having a great season. But the Bees are hanging in. The first set is a nail-biter, 20-20.
That's an advertisement.
5. These 2 Catholic colleges, about 90 minutes away from each other in eastern Iowa, are rivals. But they're also quite similar. They're small and private, they're religious, and they've each been around for a century. Ultimately, Mount Mercy crushed St. Ambrose. But while they compete against each other, coming together, it might actually end up saving them.
We have watched peer institutions right around us shut their doors.
Amy Novak is the president at St. Ambrose University.
Cardinal Stritch was in our athletic conference, and Trinity International was in our athletic conference, and Iowa Wesleyan is not far from either of us and recently closed.
A mix of financial and demographic challenges are at play. Fewer high school graduates means fewer college applicants.
So I just wanted to play that a little bit. That was pretty cool. We're gonna start doing that. I like that. And so what they were talking about is like, so they got multiple schools in their conferences that are closing down, and they're small, religious based, but as they said right here, small, rural, and religious affiliated institutions. So you're like, are they really going to let colleges close? Oh, my bad. So are they really going to let colleges close down in rural areas? Yes. If it doesn't help the country, United States of America, they're going to do it. So what that might force you to do, it might actually force you to go get a trade skill. It might actually force you to go do something like that because you're in the rural area where you cannot access an education. This is going back to what one of my good bros who is getting ready to be an attorney, hopefully he passes his test. He made the claim that, you know, college is going to be not accessible to everyone. It's going to go toward more the wealthy, more the people who have access to money and things of that nature. Like school is going to become, as G said, you know, school is going to become a commodity, if not already a commodity, of like, you know, who has the money can go here and do this. Kind of like that already. But it's really going to be evident of, once again, the haves and haves nots. Then you're going to see the valuable of college shoot up even more. Then people are going to switch the stigma of, oh, this is what they're going to do. They're going to switch the story up. It's going to go from, the story is going to switch again from like, oh, yeah, you don't need a college degree to now you're going to need a college degree to do this and do that and do this. Because when fewer people have a degree and fewer people are educated, you are forced to rely on a person who does have the knowledge and education. That is the simple routine of it. Think about it, guys. How many people you heard? How many people have you heard say, I didn't know that. I was just doing the best. Like, how many times you heard somebody say, like and subscribe? How many times you heard somebody say, I didn't know. I was just doing what I know. Like, people in poverty say that all the time. Low income say it all the time. Like, I'm only doing what I know. If you had showed me a stock market, showed me a real estate, showed me a trader skill, if you have showed me something that's more informative, if you had told me that if I need to go get a master's or a doctoral degree, I can make 6 figures at a university. Most people don't even know that to this day. You can make 6 figures or $1 million working in a college. You know, most people say, oh, what you need for that? You just need to go to college. Literally, go to college. Have some really good public speaking skills, and it don't even matter what you get your degree in. You can have an art major, but as long as you can public speak, you have a job in higher ed. True story. True story. True story. But they're going to tell you not to go to college. They're going to tell you that. Like, public speaking is one of the best things you can have going in this era we're going in. And I tell everybody that, because people don't want to get, like, people will get on the camera, but not everybody wants to do it in person. It's different in person than it is like on camera. You know, like, it's a camera. So you, like, when you see it, you can just throw your phone down and be like, yep, they can't say nothing to me. But when you're in that crowd and people looking at you, staring at you, saying they're okay, it's a little different. So if you got public speaking skills, you're going to have a great future ahead of you. That should be a major. Oh, it is a major. Oh, it is a major. My bad. So, and how to dispose of the real estate is among the least of challenges facing shuttering campuses and the students they serve. Now, I don't want to know what schools are going to be closing down. They haven't really been dropping names. They just been dropping like small schools. So, Shio, oh, that scared me. Fewer than half of students at colleges that close. What? Y'all see that? Fewer than half of students at colleges that close continue their educations. According to a study by the SHIO Association, of those who do only have go on to earn degrees. Some 670,000 students are enrolled at those colleges and universities that the HERA analysis found to be in trouble. Okay, related to interested in innovations in higher education, subscribe. No. There are several reasons colleges are closing. There we go. They said there are several, but they probably don't mean literally 7. I get that. I trip over that. They said a decline in birth rate. And the birth rate that began around the Great Recession means there will be 15% fewer 18-year-olds. 15% fewer 18-year-olds per year through 2039 than there are now. That is on top of a drop in the number of students on campus that began in 2011. College and the university enrollment is already down by 2 million since that time. Among that falling number of high school graduates, the proportion going straight to college has also dropped from a peak of 70%, we covered that before, to just 63% in 2024. The most recent year for which the figure is available from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. International students who universities and colleges recruited to help fill the gap have stopped coming too in the face of the tightening visa rules and higher costs. That is forcing cuts to programs, services, and staffing for domestic students. And new limits on federal loans for graduate and professional school could reduce demand for programs that provide universities with badly needed revenue. So, without them saying it, you know, when we said that the Trump administration was like, international students, you can't come here and go to these schools. International got that international money, right? They got that international funds. And a lot of universities, I guess small colleges and other colleges that are being affected, rely significantly on international money. And it's hurting them significantly. So international enrollment on top of the Trump administration putting barriers, like making them crack down on, hey, are these students getting a return on investment? So now, remember I was talking like some students might say, how this affect me? But if you like people like me who work in higher ed, now you got staff members who are being sliced. Now you got faculty members at universities or these colleges being sliced. Now you got, then they got hit for a tax on their endowments. And then now they pulling out money on the endowment. It's looking bad. It's looking bad. If you stack those up, and I didn't even run the numbers, because that's a lot of numbers to run. If you stack the numbers up, that don't sound good from a what we call it? From a is it quantitative? What is that? Quantitative, Alex? That's numerical. She's sleeping. That can't be that quick. Quantitative. I can't even think about it right now. Quantitative. Quantitative. It'll come back to it. But yeah, just stack those up. Then, you know, federal loans, we talked about that. So they said times may be tough for colleges. There is good news for prospective students. As demand falls, acceptance rates are going up. That is true. One of the reasons why we won't bring back SAT scores, AccuPlacer scores, Compass tests. That's why like 2-year college has always been open admission, but a lot of 2 years don't have placement tests right now. And then a lot of schools, as we said before, like, man, SAT, ACT, bump that. Come to school. We want to give you an education. As demand falls, acceptance rates are going up. The median acceptance rate to bachelor's degree grants in colleges and universities rose by at least 7.6 percentage points. That's a lot. So, and then it goes on and thank you. Then it goes on and on. I was calling you. I was asking you about quantitative and what's the other one? Qualitative. There you go. Qualitative. That's what I meant. Qualitative, quantitative. I couldn't think of the other one. You know what they mean? Yes, I know what they mean. Don't put me on the spot like that. One is numbers, one is not. How about that? And that's exactly what it means. It got one of them got a lot of numbers, one got a less lot of numbers. So before we go to the next one, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it as far as colleges, guys, before I go to the next segment. Howard, HBCUs have been in the news, guys. Let me be clear on this. I think what's going on with Howard before I show this, I don't think this is like, I think this happens all the time. Let me tell you how I know how this happens all the time. Because I work in higher education. I think it was bad because Howard is such a prestigious school that these students were like, I accepted here. I expect to be enrolled here. I was enrolled. My classes started in like a week or two. But this is normally called a tuition payment deadline. And this happens all the time. Now, granted, 500 students, that is a bit, but considering how big, I don't know how big Howard is. Let's find out. According to, let me see this. Let's see how big Howard University is. Howard University has 10,000 students. Now, y'all might find this interesting and funny. My two-year college has more students than Howard University, a two-year college. So 500 students being dropped at the tuition payment deadline for Howard is a lot. Now, what I'm curious about as a higher ed official is what really happened. Because it's been a lot going on with the news and the media. You know how I am, guys. I like to get to the root of the problem. Okay, I hear Tuskegee got a dress code, which is not bad. You should go watch that live stream. It was pretty good. I give you mixed reviews to be like, what you talking about? But what Howard is going through, this happens all the time. Students get dropped due to tuition payment deadline. If you don't pay your money, you're not taking the classes. That's what it sounded like. I think I want to be more of, I guess I don't know, because you should know about the tuition pay. It's not really, I'll be honest with you, it's not the school responsibility to tell you when you're about to be dropped due to tuition payment deadline. It's not the school responsibility. Like, it's on their website. I'm pretty sure they had it on their website when the deadline was. And if you moved in on campus, this is one of those situations where I tell you on the live stream, if you say I'm going to the school anyway, this is one of them situations. I'm like, look, you finna go to school out of state. You know, a lot of people go to school out of state at Howard University. You're about to move in on campus. I told you not to move in on campus. Let me go in steps for you. I told you not to go to school out of state. Told you not to stay on campus. And I told you not to get a meal plan or nothing like that. And then they said this stuff is non-refundable, supposedly. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what is refundable and what's not. But you went against all three of my pet peeves. And now you mad. Now you mad at Howard University. It's crazy. The three pet peeves. Don't go to school out of state. Too much money. Don't stay on campus. Too much money. Don't get a meal plan. Too much money. Too much money. Literally, the three pet peeves. So, what is this ad doing? So right here it says, as we said before, they disenrolled from Howard University. I got another one. I think I got a video. It's like 9 minutes. New York is moving quickly to support students impacted by Howard University's decision to disenroll more than 500 incoming first-year students just weeks before the start of the fall semester. Then they got the governor trying to make sure they don't lose their job. It says the move comes after Howard University removed 502 admitted first-year students who failed to meet payment plan or financial aid reporting deadlines weeks before the fall 2026 semester begins August 17th. Howard has said the action was necessary to plan for housing, financial aid, academic programs, and student support services before classes began. Literally, money. That's literally money. You went against my three pet peeves. They said, look, that's literally part of, like, guys, we do this all the time where I work at. Like, look, you failed to meet the payment deadline. You failed to meet the payment plan deadline. You failed to meet the financial aid reporting. We literally said this. Do your financial aid. Complete your financial aid. Complete your financial aid. Complete your financial aid. Man, make a payment. See what's the minimum payment. This goes into what? Financial literacy. Financial literacy. As long as you pay your bill, the school don't care. It's a business. They care, but they don't care. I'm not defending Howard, but I stand by Howard. Like, this is normal stuff. Why did it blow up out of proportion? Oh, it's a HBCU. It's a HBCU. They're kicking their own kids out, their own kids that look like them. They're kicking them out of school. Any school would drop you. Any school would drop you. And now, honestly, I think the 500 was what they could actually afford to lose. I think it's some other students who didn't meet the payments, to be honest with you, who didn't meet these obligations, but they were just like 500 extra students that we don't need. Oh, let's get them gone. And that's the truth. That's the organic truth, that this happens a lot. Now, will you learn from the past? That is up to us. You see, I said us, because it's not like I just know, but that payment deadline, you always want this. This is stuff you need to take. When you pay money to a school, you should always follow up with their business office, Bursar, student accounts, whatever they call it. You need to always follow up with them after you make any type of payment. I don't care if it's $1. You need to follow up with them, because if you don't, it could be a technology error. It could. It's possible. And so then we're gonna go to this real quick. After seeing that really summed up everything right there. Let me pull this over. And now we're gonna hit a news perspective. This is when I bring the news perspective in, because news don't know nothing about no higher ed. They the news. They just getting a story. They just need a story. And I gotta pay my bills. I need a story. Y'all see that? You see them advertising? Need that. So let me set this up. I ain't do that, y'all. Blame Al.
100 incoming freshmen at Howard University found out they were no longer enrolled. The university is saying some students failed to meet tuition, payment plan, or financial aid requirements. But many families say they were waiting for answers or didn't receive adequate notice.
So knowing that, hey, you may have the opportunity to go to an HBCU that deals with criminology, has a criminology major, I was really looking forward to just getting in there.
He said criminology major, not him. The young man, let me see.
I received.
The young man before, he said he was looking to be a criminology major. Hey, what his name was? Mason. I think his name was Mason. You can always come to a 2-year college, and we have criminology, criminal justice major. Get your associate's degree. Try again at Howard in 2 years. They ain't going nowhere. They prestigious. They're not going nowhere. I promise you. Try again in 2 years if you watching, speaking on behalf. We got you. We got you over here.
That deals with criminology, has a criminology major. I was really looking forward to just getting in there.
I received one update that was Friday afternoon, and it had stated that my case was under review and it had been taken into priority, whether to see if I could be re-enrolled or not. Since then, it has been dead silent.
We should note the university is working to reinstate some students and is reviewing additional cases. And joining me now to talk about all of this and how this happened and what's next is interim president Dr. Wayne Frederick. Thank you so much.
Poor president. He the interim president. I bet he like, man, this happened all the time. But since we're HBCU, it hit the head. It just had to make national news.
Much, sir, for joining me to talk about this. I know you've been very, very busy handling this. You are a Howard graduate. If you were an incoming freshman experiencing what hundreds are going through right now, how do you think you'd be handling this situation?
You know, that is a tough interview question. She said you was a Howard student. If you was a Howard student and you experienced this, how would you be? Interested to see what he gonna say though.
Well, certainly I empathize with the students who are in this situation. And to be quite honest, I came here as a 16-year-old to go to school, and I can imagine the enormous pressure it puts everyone under. The reality is, though, over 2,200 students and families did exactly what we expected them to do and followed the policies and procedures and met the deadline, which means that I feel that our communication was pretty comprehensive. We have to make some adjustments because we have a very diverse student body, and about 47% of our students are Pell Grant eligible. And so we certainly need to recognize that we have to enhance our communications and really support our students even more.
Have you seen this happen before? And what would you say to those parents who say they did not receive adequate notice and this surprised them, came out of nowhere?
Yeah, I find that a little difficult to accept because, as I said, 2,200 students and families did exactly the right thing, and we send the same communication to everyone. As a matter of fact, we've gone to texting students as well to make sure that they get our responses, etc. And then in some circumstances, students misunderstood what the 50% of the outstanding balance meant. And so if the bill is 60,000 and you got aid for 40,000, some students felt they met what we were trying to express. And in reality, what we said is, if your aid is 40,000, then you have a balance of 20,000 and you have to remit 50,000. And as I said, 2,200 plus students and families did exactly that and got the same instruction. So my goal now is just to ensure that we continue to communicate as better and also to really reach out to those families so that we could assist them in the best way possible.
I think something they should have mentioned. They said 47% of their students get financial aid. That's almost half of their students. I'm gonna just say that's half. That's pretty much 50% of their students get financial aid. And he said 47% exactly are Pell eligible, which is pretty much almost 50. When you got students that are Pell eligible, not all students come from low income backgrounds are Pell eligible, but some of these parents don't even know how to work emails nowadays, man. Some families, like, that's all cross race boards. Like, students don't check. I'm highly sure if anybody who's in higher ed is watching this, working as a staff, faculty, or whatever, definitely staff, and work with students on a daily basis, they sent this notification to their student emails. And let me tell you what they were expecting. I thought it was going to go to my personal email, not my student email. That's usually how I go.
Sir, just to be clear, this deadline was put out there to these families. This wasn't a decision that the university came to just weeks before the start of the semester. Is that right?
That's right. We've been, as a matter of fact, in March, we sent out financial aid packages. That's the earliest we've ever done that. And we opened our portal for housing in April, which is also the earliest we've ever done that. So we really try to communicate aggressively every single month. But we also gave people information very early, earlier than we ever have, actually.
So was the school expecting a large group of students to arrive? Were beds available for these students that had been accepted?
We've reinstated over 200 students, and we do have bed capacity for all of those students. So none of the students that were unenrolled, we did not change their housing assignment or provide their beds to anyone else. We kept those beds open, hoping that we would be able to resolve the situation with as many of them as possible. And so far, we've done that for over 200 of them already. So this was not an issue about not having bed capacity.
I see. And how did the school weigh the potential long-term consequences that students and their families would be facing once these students were unenrolled?
Well, you know, there are two sides to that coin. One is we definitely recognize that people want to be here at Howard, and we don't take that lightly. And not having the opportunity for them to come to us and start with us is something that we certainly, don't want to see happen. However, we recognize that our graduation rate is not 100%, and our four-year graduation rate is just under 70%. And so the reality is, as bright and talented as our students are when they get here, they face significant financial I would say, financial hurdles, and that's probably the large majority of why they don't finish on time. So we really are trying to do our best to make sure that when students start, they can finish. And this is part of what we must do on the front end, because I think having them leave without a degree and with debt is not the right thing as well.
And you mentioned that there have been students that have been re-enrolled at the school. What criteria is the university using to review cases? And can other affected students still have their enrollment restored?
Yeah, so we looked at students who were able to give us the documentation we were asking for in the first place, such as evidence of an external scholarship, and also students who were able to remit payment. And so we took that into consideration despite the fact that it was late. Having said that, we have now reviewed all 502 students. And so most of the decisions, if not all of them, have been made. And so we will be closing off this process completely sometime probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. So I don't anticipate a significant number of students being re-enrolled on the go forward. And I should also mention as well, of the 502, not everybody has been responsive. Some people have just made a decision that they will attend school elsewhere and just didn't tell us. And that's difficult for our planning when we don't get that kind of responsiveness.
I see. And beyond the financial impact, this has been an emotional experience for students who see Howard as their dream school. Many of them say they didn't receive the proper communication. What is your message to those students and family today?
Yeah, every student who was admitted and enrolled, we will hold a space for them next year. And also we would, if students enroll elsewhere, we would also give them the opportunity to transfer. And if they want to defer their enrollment for a year, we will honor that.
Nah, your spot gone. They said they were going to hold a spot for you next year. Just go to a 2-year, then go back. I'm telling you.
As well. So we will still make every attempt to keep those students within the Howard family.
And there are some families that say they were told that they would be okay if they missed the deadline for financial aid. Obviously, there was a breakdown in communication. Looking ahead, what specific changes will Howard make to ensure future students aren't facing this kind of uncertainty just weeks before the start of a semester?
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not sure about those communications in terms of okay. Different offices are communicating with students and their families about a variety of different things. So you have the financial aid office making sure documentation is there, their applications are there, et cetera. So hearing from financial aid office that everything is okay in terms of whatever documentation they may have in terms of filling out their FAFSA form, in terms of the financial aid package we submitted, is very different from someone saying that you have fulfilled all the requirements. We actually have an enrollment checklist that students can go down and check. So we've been talking about finances a lot, but one of those enrollment checklist items, for instance, is your documentation of immunizations. The District of Columbia has a law that if we house students, they have to have a certain immunization profile. And that's one of the criteria that some people missed in terms of not turning in those documentation. So they may have heard from Student Health Center that their enrollment was fine with respect to their vaccination. That's very different. So I would continue to say that we will make every effort to communicate in the best way possible. But I have to continue to underscore that over 2,200 students and families got the same information and completed all of the tasks that were required successfully.
And it certainly can be a complicated process. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. President Dr. Wayne Frederick, really appreciate you coming on here and clearing things up here on ABC News Live. Thanks.
Thanks.
Oh, didn't see that coming, did y'all? Wow. That was a good interview. That was a pretty good interview, but like I said, I don't think the president should have been the person to do the interview. For one, he doesn't know anything about, probably, unless he worked at higher ed. I'm gonna be real with you. That president probably don't know nothing about admissions. He probably don't know nothing about advising students. He don't know nothing about financial aid. They gave him those notes talking about some 50% remitted or 60%. They should have interviewed the VPs of, that's what they should have did. If they knew their stuff, if the news actually knew their stuff, they should have requested an interview from the vice president, the highest person over the financial aid, over the admissions, which they should be together, should be that one person, and then maybe one more if possible. That's what they should have interviewed about that. That's when they would have got some real answers, because the president don't know nothing. He just a face. Like, he don't know. He understands whatever his strong suit is about turning the school and keeping the school going in the right direction. He don't know nothing. So you was talking to like a, as we say, a dead horse. He was pretty much being a dead horse because he didn't know much. That's why he kept giving you like, I don't know nothing about these communications, you know, and these communications had nothing to do with me. Pretty much, you know. I just want to be clear on that. We're going to save a spot for them next year. We're going to save a spot for them next year. If they want to be part of the Howard family, we're going to save a spot for them next year. Dead. No. With school, no. They're not saving you a spot. No, I know too many people that have been waitlisted that never came back around. Save you a spot. All these other kids coming. Save you a spot. All right. Believe it if you want to. You're gonna be in the same situation again. Next topic. Oh, we almost had an hour. Right on time. I thought this was pretty interesting. Thought this was pretty cool. Show y'all something real quick. Thought this was pretty cool. Back on LinkedIn. So the Wall Street Journal posted this. As you can see, y'all see them? Y'all see them brothers? Yeah, somebody commented and said, I see. Somebody commented and said, these are not my words. Somebody said, oh, dang, I didn't even say that. Somebody said, are there no any black students in this school? I'm shocked. Then somebody said, a woman said 1/18 women. Then somebody said, Heather Dent, first thing I noticed as well. But check it out. Besides the women and the race stuff going on in this picture, right? The main thing I want you to highlight, the main thing, because speaking on behalf is about what? Speaking on behalf is about that money. How you can save money in college and make money in college. You know, that's what we are about at Speaking on Behalf. We don't get caught up in the woo, wah, 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 because if we did, we wouldn't be here talking to you, doing what we doing, when we want, how we want. We wouldn't be doing that. We wouldn't have a master's degree debt-free, bachelor's degree debt-free, associate's degree debt-free, and certificates debt-free. We wouldn't be doing that if we was worrying about the wrong thing. So, where are you getting at? Speaking on behalf. So I'm getting at this. They're saying on a recent summer, sunny afternoon, Brooks Hiller was hunkered over his laptop at his apartment in Chicago, dialing into hour 3 of a marathon series of conference calls on real estate deals, for one. And then the 21-year-old isn't a professional, and he does not make a dime from this work. He is a rising senior at Indiana University's Kelley School of Business, where he leads a team of 20 undergraduates who manage about $12 million in equity. He's in college. He's 21. They're managing $12 million in equity. 12 million. Look at them. Look at them. They're managing $12 million in equity while in college. You think they're not investing in stocks while they're in college? You think they don't got real estate portfolios early, getting that going while they're in college? See, out of all that, I'm gonna zoom off of me. Out of all that, people focusing on race, gender, women, boys and girls. Okay, but they manage $1 million in college. They gonna invest in space. Let me tell you what they're gonna do. They gonna invest in SpaceX early. If they were like me, they gonna invest in Palantir early. They gonna invest in the next big thing while they're in college, because we still looking at college as a gimme. Oh, college, you supposed to help me get a job when I graduate. Man, let me tell you what that college job is to do. That college job is to help you save money if they are that college, if you are paying attention to the parameters and the variables, if you are really trying to like, hey, this is college, are they really trying to like, hey, help me get off campus housing? Are they really like offering food in that pantry? So if I don't want to go grocery shopping, I can get food out the pantry. It's called food pantry. Are they really trying to help me invest? And it is a girl in there, actually. Well, yeah, I ain't even see her in there. She is in there. But let me zoom it in. I ain't even see that girl in there. She right there. I looked at this picture like 3 times. And so, are you really trying to help me learn how to invest? Are you bringing financial advisors to my school? Are you bringing JP Morgan, BlackRock, Eli Lilly, Palantir, Nvidia? Are you bringing these companies to my school so that I can have a better life than I started? Or are you giving me exposure to things, and then you give me the exposure, then I can take it far? You know, because college is supposed to give you education. They give you a piece of information. That's the power in college that nobody understands. If I'm really saying the power of college, that's the power in college. Your professor can mention one line or one word or something, and you might say, what is that? And they might start saying, oh, I thought all of y'all knew this. And then they break it down and you take it and run with it after. Your professor, he could have went on and started LLC, investing in real estate, stocks, or whatever. But he said, look, I'll just tell you, I didn't want to do that. I'm a family man, or I'm a family woman. I don't really care too much about it. I did it, cool, whatever, but I care about my family. Some people got different priorities. That's the power in college. One word can shift your whole mindset in college. Yeah, it might didn't happen your first semester, your second semester, or your second year of college. It might happen your junior year in college. You'll be like, whoa, I didn't know that. But let's not get off topic. They're managing $20 million. $12 million, my bad, $12 million. Those students operate their own real estate investment business called Simple Gates Management. What's Simple Gates Management? Look, I'm using my college education right now. What is Simple Gates Management? I don't know. Let's go look it up. Simple Gates Management is the nation's, hold up, wait a minute. Put some pimping in it. Simple Gates Management is the nation's largest undergraduate run real estate private equity platform based in Indiana University Kelley School of Business. Top students manage roughly $12 million. That's what they're literally saying on the AI overview. Largest undergraduate managed real estate private equity. Named for Gothic style limestone arches that are the gateway to Bloomington campus. Unlike the many student investment clubs that deploy university money or rely on donations, the Indiana group raises funds from third parties and invests in properties across the country, such as apartment developments and industrial parks. Students get the experience. That's what they're saying. Look, quotation, students get the experience. The school gets the better education for their students, and the investors are making their money back and get to be part of their program again. Hiller said, I really wanted to be a part of that. Come on, man. But we worried about this and that. But we glorify the wrong thing. For the black comment that I seen, we glorify the wrong thing. We're the same one saying college is worthless. I'm not talking about him, but I'm just saying, we say college is worthless. We say, oh, no, you don't need to go to college. You don't need to go to college and manage $12 million in equity. You don't need to go learn how to manage $12 million in equity or real estate. Then, when you learn that skill in college, then you go back to your community, and then now you can build $12 million of equity in your impoverished community, your poverty community that you grew up in. So you learn how to manage $12 million at Indiana University, Henry? Yeah, in real estate. Yeah, it wasn't that hard, really. I'm going to do the same thing when I go back home. I'm going to do it in my community so they can have better access to things than I did coming up. See, everybody want to go to college and change the world. That's cool. But you need to go federal. You need to go work for the CIA, FBI. It's levels to everything. See, most people don't think you got to go back to your city. Don't leave your city. Go back to your city. Once you get your money, Go do it in your city. You ain't got to tell nobody. So people start talking like, oh, let them talk. I'm just saying, y'all, don't go to college. Go do a trade. I'm going back to my title. No, don't earn a trade now. Don't earn the trade now. No. Go earn your trade. Go earn your trade. You want to go earn your trade now. You want to go earn the trade? Go on be an HVAC technician. Not saying nothing wrong with that, because shoot, my EC go out, I gotta call somebody. But look, you know what I'm saying? No. Go and be a welder. No, don't. You ain't catching the drift. What I'm saying. Then somebody said something about race, right? Somebody said something about gender. Look who's going to college. I can't help who they accepting. I'll be real. We can't control that. That's real. But look, they going to college. Do it look like they do it look like they want to be the HVAC technician? They managing the real estate portfolios, but guess what they gonna be doing when they start their real estate LLC, apartment complexes and all that? Oh, they gonna hire the HVAC technician. My bad. They gonna hire the HVAC technician. They gonna say we blah 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 LLC, and they gonna hire the HVAC technician. Yeah, you gonna have a job HVAC. Don't get me wrong, but you gonna report to who? Them. You gonna report to one of them. You gonna report to one of them. Now you ain't gotta play this back on the live screen if you made it this far, because it's gonna get clipped. Oh, this gonna get clipped because I'm gonna leave it right there. I ain't even go. I had one more, but that right there, this take the cake. Look, you can play it back. Yeah, you gonna become an HVAC technician for them. This is what Speaking Open Habits trying to say, man. You need to learn to go be what? Your own founder. Found something. Yeah, you go to school for air conditioning. Keep advancing your education so you can own your own HVAC company, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but if not, you're going to be working for one of them if you don't further your education. And then guess what? Instead of them paying you on an invoice because you're your own business, they're going to work for them. Come on, man. Everybody got to work. Don't get me wrong, because I work for somebody. I work for the state of Georgia. You got to work. Don't get me wrong. You got to work before you can get where you're going, but it's not supposed to be an eternity, man. Not an eternity. Just saying. These jokers managed $12 million in undergrad. The highest, $12 million. 12 million. Dog, 12 million. They not even old enough. They just old enough to drink. One of them is just old enough to drink. But you don't want to go to college, though. You think college is worthless. I salute you. I guess. I understand perspectives. I understand your perspective. I'm just saying. All right. I understand. Peace, love, chicken grease. Thank you for stopping by, everybody who did stop by. Pretty good live stream. We'll be back again Tuesday. Make sure we get some more topics. Hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to skip through to whichever part makes you feel good and learn something. Remember, start at a 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. School is starting back up for college, everything but college, more specifically. Start a 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. Articulation agreement saves you a ton of money. Pick a school that has a great agreement. If not an articulation agreement, pick a school that has a partnership with your school where, hey, if I get my associate's degree, y'all gonna take it. If I take these credits, y'all gonna take it. Pick 2-year to 4-year. Do not stay on campus. Do not get a meal plan, because look, that knocks off $10,000 or more. You don't want to be like the Howard University students. You don't want to be like any students that's got to deal with this. Okay? Peace, love, chicken grease. We say this every time, and we'll see you next Tuesday. $12 million, man, I tell you.